Alright, how y'all doing? So a lot of y'all been asking me to do a video about my time in prison. I know some of y'all have read my story from DOC to DFS. So basically I'm going to do a little video about, why I went to prison, some of the things that happened while I was in prison, and how it's kind of led me to where I am today. Some of the ideas I have going forward, a little bit of advocacy work, things like that. But basically, 2006, I had my own business. Excuse me. And I had crappy credit, really bad personal credit. Went through a divorce, got stuck with the house that we no longer owned, 2 cars and a motorcycle. All that fell on my credit, not hers. So it really hurt my personal credit. But my business credit, which is totally different, was stellar, spectacular, A+. And what happens is when you own a business, you have to get something called an EIN, which is an employee identification number. You all know this when you do your taxes, it always asks for the EIN. An employee identification number is the same length as a social security number. And when you apply for your EIN, you're supposed to tie your EIN to your business, if it's an incorporation, an LLC, whatever it is. Well, instead of that, I tied my EIN to my name. So if you pulled up the EIN, it came up with my name. And I got this idea from looking online, ways to raise your credit score, things like that, because like I said, my personal credit was crap. And I came across this thing. First, it was talking about paper tripping, which was pretty much impossible in this day and age. And then it started talking about using an EIN and tripping the system up. So when a company would run your name and your EIN, it would still pop up because it's business. It would still have your name and it would have all your business credit, which again, my business credit score was extremely, extremely high. So I said, well, let me try it. I figured, what the heck, it can't hurt. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Well, it worked. I had a lot of credit cards. I had 2 personal lines of credit with 2 different banks. Like I said, my credit cards and that. And basically what happened was I never fell behind. I never defaulted. I never used the business's money to pay for my credit cards and that. I used my own money. But what happened was one of the companies that I had the credit card through had called, and I also had a personal credit card through them. Well, when they called because of some of the charges on the business credit card, I had made like 4 charges that day, and they weren't high amounts. It was online purchases, so it kind of pinged their fraud department, which, is what they're supposed to do. That's their job, to protect their cardholder. Well, when they put my name in the system, it came up with my name, my address, everything the same, but 2 different social security numbers. And that's kind of what tripped me up. And it's considered fraud. It's organized fraud. It's in the state of Florida, it's under the state statute. I think it was 813. I'd have to look at my charges again. But wire fraud, internet fraud, organized fraud. And then I got charged with improper use of personal identification because I was using all my personal information except for my EIN or except for my social in order to get credit cards and whatnot. And so what ended up happening was this bank contacted the local sheriff's department in the county I lived in, and they started investigating it. And I actually kind of knew I was busted because one day I was at the Hard Rock Casino in Tampa, and I went to the ATM to pull money out, and it wouldn't let me pull no money out. And I'm like, I don't get this. And this was off of my personal, my personal account, my bank account. And so I called my bank, and I'm like, hey, I'm up here at the casino trying to pull money out of the ATM, and it's not. Whoa, fucking dick. Asshole just ran a red light. But I'm at the ATM trying to pull money out, and it's not letting me pull my money out. And I need to know why. And they were like, well, we can't really go into detail with you, but right now your account's been frozen. we got a freeze account warning on you, and you're going to need to contact your local sheriff's department to find out what the deal is, and they'll let you know what you can do. Well, right then and there, I already knew what the deal was. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So what ended up happening, luckily, because most of the cards were already paid in full, I didn't have balances on some of the cards. I didn't. One of my personal lines of credit I haven't even used, so there was no balance on it. And so what ended up happening was when they did the investigation and started tabulating all the money up, they came up with right at $35,000. Well, luckily for me, had they found all the money, I would have had a first degree felony. So it ended up working out to where it was only a second degree felony and also a third degree felony for the improper use of my personal identification. So I got charged with 2 felonies. I started off on probation, was doing the probation thing for a little while, and basically what it was is I had 5 years probation and or 5 years prison. So of course, me being any reasonable human being, went ahead and took the probation. Well, probation went well for a little while. I started sliding, started getting into illegal substances. Nothing hard. I wasn't doing coke or meth or anything like that. I was doing pills. And I kind of fell off of probation. I stopped going, stopped making my payments, and they put out a violation of probation warrant for me. I knew the warrant was out there. I hadn't gone to see my probation officer for probably 3 months, so I knew the warrant was out there. I'd never failed any tests or anything, so luckily it wasn't that, but it was considered a technical violation. And so one day, me and the girl that I was dating at the time were down at the beach, stopped at Wendy's to get something to eat. We're driving back to the house. We get to the house, and I realize I can't find my phone. And I'm thinking, oh shit, when I got out of the car at Wendy's, the phone must have fell off, and it's sitting in the parking lot. Which it wasn't. It was sitting in the car, in the freaking glove box of all places. But we didn't know that. And it was dead, so I couldn't call it. So we go back to look for it, couldn't find it. We turn around, we start coming back. I happen to open the glove box. There it is. Well, the girl's speeding through a residential area. We get pulled over. And then I didn't know the law. If I'd have known the law, then I would have never, I'd have never said nothing to the cops. But then I didn't know the law. So the cop asked me my name. I gave him my name. I didn't have my wallet with me. So I'm like, I don't have my ID, but here's my name. Here's my date of birth, Social Security. I told the girl I was with that I had a warrant, so more than likely they're going to arrest me. Sure enough, it came back. They arrested me. They took me to the county jail for the county we were in. I sat there for about 4 days because it was a weekend. Then they transferred me up to the county where my charges originated from. Went back to that county jail. I was there for about 6 months. Not really many stories in the county jail. People were in and out. Most everybody that came in there was dope sick. So, there's a lot of people that just came in and slept for 3 or 4 days, threw up, gave up all their food for shots of coffee because it helped them with being dope sick. And then after that, we went to court, and my attorney told me the option they're going to give you is 3 years of house arrest, or you can finish off whatever you had left on probation in prison, because I scored out for prison anyway. So anybody that's watching this that has the option of prison, county jail, or house arrest, never take house arrest, because let's say you do 3 years of house arrest, you do 2 years and 11 months, and you violate in that last month for whatever reason, that 2 years and 11 months does not count towards your sentence whatsoever. So if you had a 3-year suspended sentence and you did 2 years and X amount of months on house arrest and violated, you still got to do 3 years in prison. They don't count that house arrest time. So I decided I'm not going to take the house arrest because, again, I didn't really have a job. I was kind of messed up. Didn't really have a stable place to live at the time. So I just decided I'm going to take the prison. Let's go ahead and do the deal. I'll walk into court, I'll accuse to my charges, in open court, hey, I did it, blah, blah, blah. And, let's go ahead and roll up the road. So that's pretty much what we did. Again, like I said, in county jail, there wasn't much going on. There was a little bit of gambling. But, it was pretty much county jail sucks. Trust me, you don't. If you have a choice at 11 months and 29 days or a year and a day, take the year and a day. Go to prison because A, you're gonna get out quicker, and B, there's a hell of a lot more freedom in prison than there is in county jail. Um, but I went ahead and just took the prison time and decided I'll go ahead and knock this out, get it out of the way. I'll get credit for some time served. I get 10 days a month in gain time for working and, not getting in trouble. So I decided to go ahead and take the prison time because to me that was the best choice I had. It's somewhere I needed to be. I needed to get straight and I needed to, work on righting some wrongs and taking care of business. So that's pretty much what I did.